Are we live? Are we live? Good evening, everyone. Andy Forrest, Team Runner here, live to talk about London Marathon 2019. I am buzzing, and that's mainly because I have just got back from London. But tonight, I want to talk all about London. I want to talk about some race predictions, some general chat, talk to you guys that are running it. Hopefully, some of you might tune in from your hotel where you are, and we can all talk about London Marathon. You can enlighten me with hopefully what I've got to come next year, but the main focus of tonight is just general London chat, and I want to talk about the elite predictions. There's an exciting race shaping up already. So before we jump into anything, I am just going to try and get everything set at my end so I can see the chat. I need to learn a smoother and slicker way of getting everything sorted on my screen. In fact, I think what I need is I need two screens, really, don't I? So there it is. Bear with me. Sorted on my screen. There we go. Happy days. Happy days. We're there. Jeffrey, good evening. Chris, good evening. I hope you're all excited. Tonight, guys, let's talk London Marathon. Jeffrey, I hope you're well from your two oceans. I know you said on Instagram didn't like road races anymore. I hope your mind has changed. This weekend, dominating the news, dominating controversy as well, of course, with someone already being sent home, is the London Marathon, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, marathons in the world. And I am buzzing. The reason I'm buzzing is because I've just come back from London. I was privileged enough to experience some incredible atmosphere, scenes, everything down in London Thursday and Friday. In I can't remember what the park by where the London Marathon is going to finish. There were so many people there, in groups of people with their Boston Marathon t-shirts on, their Berlin t-shirts on, Tokyo even, people going for the majors, people there for the first time, people scoping out. I mean, the mall itself looked phenomenal. It was dressed to kill. It was beautiful. Flags everywhere, like this one here. Hope you like the flag, by the way. That's the best I could do. That's one of the kids. It was incredible. And tonight I want to dive in and talk about what is shaping up to be a potential world record marathon attempt, and a few things that I want to talk about: the men's and the women's side, also the British prospects that we have out on the starting list. But let's just say hello to a few more people. Jeffrey, half marathons a week is enough for now, definitely, mate. Lee, good evening. Just finished watching your last vlog on the awards, mate. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. I saw you at the London Expo taking a photo of the 40 Runs Cruise, scribbles on the wall. Yes, Chris, just made the signs up. I want to do it. So let's do it next year, mate. Get your name in the ballot. Do it for charity. 2020 for me is the year. I think whether I qualify or not, however I do it, I've got to do it next year. I think being in the city itself really opened my eyes to how incredible it is. But anyway, if you're watching this, good evening. Drop your name in the chat. Let us know that you're watching, and let's dive into the excitement of the men and the women's race. Now, I will be saying a couple of things tonight, maybe a little bit controversial. We'll see. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We'll start with the men's race. Obviously, we've got some incredible athletes. I actually have the official list up from London Marathon, published on their website. Their elite field list, 39 elite men starting by the look of it, with some mouth-watering names. Eliud Kipchoge, of course, Wilson Kipsang, we all know Kipsang, obviously Mo Farah, Gabra Selassie, Tola, all these people who have run marathons recently, which are really pushing the boundaries. Now, I'd just like to say that on this list, looking now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 people on this list have broken sub 205. Absolutely incredible. And of course, up there in the top 2, breaking sub 204 is of course Kipchoge and Kipsang. Now, this weekend for me, in terms of race predictions, and I want to hear what your thoughts are and your predictions on the men's race. We'll jump into the women's in a second. Drop in the chat, what is your prediction for the men's race? tomorrow. For me personally, if everything goes to plan, I cannot see anyone beating Kipchoge. I can't. There's no way. This man is a machine. I have high hopes for Mo Farah, to be honest with you. I think he's going to do really well. Each time he's done a marathon, since he's been focusing on it, he's taken a minute or 2 minutes off his PB, chipping away. Obviously, he ran a 2:05 in Chicago. So wherever he's looking to, well, obviously now I'm predicting a 2:04. I think Mo's going to take his time to get to where Elliot is, but I think anything PB would be incredible for Mo personally. However, I don't doubt the fact that Mo is going to go off at the record pace. And I know this because if any of you were watching his live stream earlier, Mo live stream from his hotel room for about 5-10 minutes, he said that Kipchoge has requested the pacers to go out for the first half at 61:20. So his world record currently stands at 2:01:39. So if he's requesting a 61:20, that is going to equate to oh my gosh, my brain, 61:20 times 2. Or is it 60:20? I can't remember. Oh god, I can't remember now. Obviously, if it's 60:20, that's going to be a 2 hour and 40 second. If it's 61:20, 61, is that? Oh my gosh, guys. I think it's world record pace, and the second pack is going out at 61:45. You correct me in the chat. Anyway, that's what he said, and that's exciting. But in my opinion, that's where Mo went wrong last year. He didn't run his own race, and I know he's competitive. I know he wants to go out there and he wants to go after things. He wants to chase Elliot, and he wants to prove to the world that the gap there that people think there isn't as big as it is. And I believe he'll do well, but I think his downfall is going to be trying to stick with him from the start. I think if he went out in that second pace group at 61:45, he will have a much better and consistent even split race than he did last year. If you remember last year, they went through the half split around 61 something, and of course he finished in 2:05. Now last year the heat was sapping, it was exceptional, but of course that was a big positive split for someone of Mo's caliber. So I think if he is clever enough, he will he won't let Elliot go. He'll keep him in his sights, but he will. I know he won't, but if he did, he would do much better sticking with the second pack. So there's that. I think Elliot's going to win. What are your thoughts? Where do you think Mo's going to come? Let's have a Mo prediction time. Let's have an Elliot prediction time. I don't think Elliot's going to get the world record tomorrow. I might be wrong. I think Berlin is the perfect course for that. There's just a couple of lumps and bumps in the second half of the London course just to take it out of your legs. However, again, I could be proved wrong. I think Elliot is going to get a 2:02 tomorrow. I think Mo is going to get a 2:04. I think that's going to be the 1-2 myself. That's going to be first and second place. I think Kipsang is another big name in there, but Kipsang over recent times hasn't performed as well as I think he could do. And I'm not 100% sure that I believe he's going to get the third spot. I think Kipsang, what did he do at the big half? Mo and what's the other chappie? His training partner, and where's his name? Daniel Wanjiru. They came through in 61 something, and of course Kipsang came through at 62 or 63, so he was just a bit shy of the pace. I think Kipsang's going to be around 2:06, 2:07 tomorrow. So I think the third place spot could well be occupied by Wanjiru. I think he's a fantastic half marathoner. I think he could do it. It's exciting. I couldn't pick third place, but I do think first and second 100% is going to be Mo and Elliot. Sorry, Elliot, then Mo. What are your thoughts? Let's have a look, see what you guys are putting in the chat. Big Guys 45. Hello, London from California. Mate, good evening. I hope you are well. Men's prediction is fairly easy, says Chris. Has to be Kipchoge. Yeah, definitely. So I think it can be interesting to predict second place. I think it's, yeah, definitely. Do you think one will break sub 2? Yeah, I think it's possible. I do think it's possible, but not Not at the moment, and I think it would have to be under controlled conditions, like it was at Monza in the Breaking 2 project. I think Elliot proved how close he was to doing it. I think it's first going to be broken. I think there'll be another attempt like that at some point in the future, and I think it'll be Elliot to do it, definitely. In a race environment, best chance is Berlin. Paul, 61.20, yes, it was. You obviously watched it, 61.20. Yeah, that's, oh, it's a not world record. Right, okay. So that's interesting. That's really interesting. So James is saying that it's not world record pace. Yeah, see, my brain has gone, my maths is terrible, but 61.20, obviously that's going to be a 2:02.40, is it? 2:02.40 pace. So either he's going out there to run the 2:02 that I've said I reckon he'll run, or he's going to try and negative split it. Either way, Jeffrey Kipchoge for me, 100%, mate, 100%. And I'd just like to point out, obviously, you'll see someone in the chat called James Eckloff. He has got his hands on a pair of the Nike, what was it, Vaporfly Next Percent. They looked lovely, really nice. Be interesting to see how they do tomorrow. And I'd love to hear your thoughts, James. Have you even run in them yet? I know you're not running in them tomorrow, but I'd love to hear, mate, if you are. Let's jump on to the females. So the females, this is where I'm going to be controversial. The female list is slightly smaller, but I think what makes this London Marathon quite exciting is, of course, Eliud Kipchoge. I think there's so much buzz around him. He's always there shooting for a PB. He's always there shooting for, well, not a PB, but shooting for the limit. The sky is, you know, he wants to hit it. There's no one in the women's field at the moment that is going, right, I am going to lay down a world record pace. I'm going to go for it. There's no one in the women's field setting it alight like Kipchoge. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've got some incredible women runners out there. Vivian Chariot, Mary Keitany, always up there. But if you think about it, the men's race is dominated by media because Kipchoge is there, always pushing, trying to push the boundaries, trying to push the limits, trying to strive to get the world record. And there's no woman out there chasing Paula Radcliffe's world record. And it's like that world record has stood for so long. At what point is someone going to go, right, that is my target, I am going to break it? Are there no female athletes out there that feel physically fit enough to do it? I know last year, who was it last year? I think it was, if I'm right in saying it, and again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was it Keitany, Mary Keitany? She went out with Dibaba, and they went out with the intention of world record pace, and she said in the interviews leading up to it, I want world record pace, I want to see what it's like. And of course, she crashed and burned in the second half. The heat was just, it was too much. But it was nice to see that someone went out at that pace. Now, I haven't seen much of many interviews of the female athletes. I don't know if that's their intention, but there just seems to be no social media buzz. There seems to be nothing out there that is indicative of someone shooting for that world record time. Either way, I think the women's race is going to be absolutely fantastic. And again, my predictions for the 1-2 are going to be the two ladies I've just said, Vivian Chariot and Mary Keitany. Those two always doing really well. Last year, I think it was Chariot that won, wasn't it? She came through past Keitany. So I think if Keitany paces herself better, the weather's meant to be great tomorrow for running. I think Keitany could do it, but if not, Chariot's there. There's Chirono, of course, who has run some fantastic races recently. She can be right up there in the mix. And again, if I just say this to you, the top 6, yeah, the top 6 have all broken sub 220. So it's an exciting list. That list is Chariot, Keitany, Chirono, Kosgei, I can't pronounce this one, Derigi, and Dibaba. So, of course, it's going to be mouthwatering. Hopefully, someone can take it to the wire. Someone can put their foot down and go for it. Just make it exciting. I'm desperate for the women's field to have that same buzz that the men's field. I mean, what's your opinion? Do you think I'm right in saying this? Do you think I'm wrong? I appreciate it's probably a bit controversial, but I just don't feel there's the same buzz around the women's side as there is to the men's. I want someone to grab that world record by the scruff of the neck and say, we're going to take that. I'm going to train for the next 2 or 3 years for this world record, and I want it. So yeah, what are your opinions? Yeah, Jeffrey, Kipchoge for me. Kipchoge. Everyone, as I said, Kipchoge he's going to be, if he's on his day, I don't think anyone can stop him. Jeffrey, females, I have no idea. I actually don't follow the road runners. That's fair enough, mate. You're a trail runner. James, I only worn them indoors. You need to get them out. Too scared to wear them yet. They look like platforms. You imagine me in them, mate. You saw me at the running show. I'm 6'6". You imagine if I wore them, I'd be like 7 foot. Happy Easter, everyone, by the way. They won't make me run the time I want. Happy with the 4%. But yeah, so you're obviously going to be racing in the 4% tomorrow, which is awesome. And very best of luck to you, mate. Yes, I saw slightly less heel drop. So this one is 8 millimeters, whereas the Vaporfly is 11, I believe. It is slightly less, but they look a bit more like a Hoka in terms of cushion, like the volume of cushion. So it's interesting. Yes, I was going to come on to that, James. I agree. Let's just jump into that very quickly. Let's talk about, I've listed here the GB field, and we'll start with the females first because James has predicted exactly what I'm going to predict. So there's some fantastic predictions, some fantastic GB athletes here for the women's side. Sonia Samuels, Charlotte Purdue, Lily Partridge, Tracy Barlow, Trish Jones, Natasha Cockram, and Hayley Carruthers. Now, Hayley Carruthers, I think, is the only lady outside 2:30, but my money's on Charlotte Purdue for the first Brit. She ran amazingly at the big half. She ran smooth, controlled, like a little pocket rocket. She was phenomenal. She sat in about second or I think she sat in like third or fourth, and about halfway she just started to tick away, taking them one by one, and came through with a massive win for the GB ladies. And it was incredible. She did so well. If she has that sort of race again, I can't see anyone beating her for the women. And that's the GB women. So James, mate, 100%, I agree with you. Yes, and Molly Huddle is in it as well. Very interesting. Molly Huddle could do very well. Obviously, American marathoner, top American marathoner. In terms of the British side and the men's, this is where it gets interesting. And I think some PBs are going to be broken here for the men. So we've got Mo Farah, we've got Dewey Griffiths or Dowie Griffiths, Callum Hawkins. He's going to smash his PB. He's got a current PB of 2:10. He is well above. He could smash that. He's run 60 half marathons, 60 minutes, 61. He could smash it. He could smash that. I think the last couple of marathons, well, the marathon he ran at the Commonwealth Games in Sydney, Australia, of course, he had that nightmare, but he was leading it. He was doing so well. Dewey Griffiths or Dowie Griffiths, what an inspirational person he is. Followed him for 3 or 4 years, ran at Cardiff Half with him 4 years ago when he ran a 65 something, got himself in the British team, came back, ran a 64, 63 the next year. Now he's down to the 61s, ran a 61 at the Great North Run. He went over to, what was the half marathon in America that Jim Walmsley ran a 104 in? Was it Houston? I can't remember. Either way, he ran a 61 there. And his PB was at Frankfurt 2 years ago, I think, or 1.5 years ago. And that was 2:09. He's going to obliterate that easily. I think he'll come through in 2:07 is my prediction. Mark my words. Jonathan Mellor, don't know too much about him. Joshua Griffiths, again, the sort of the hero from 2 years ago, or was it last year, where he came through as behind Mo Farah as the second Brit in the Swansea Harriers vest. Swansea Harriers produced some incredible athletes, absolutely brilliant. They obviously of recent times, Dewey Griffiths, Dowie Griffiths, Joshua Griffiths, of course, Matt Rees, the Swansea Harrier, the London hero. Some absolutely brilliant people. Joshua, his time is 2:14, I think, from memory. He'll smash it. I'm sure he will. So I think from the GB perspective, there are going to be some big PBs, and I would not be surprised if we see a Mo, Dewey, and Callum all sub 2:10, getting 3 GB athletes sub 2:10, and for British athletics, that would be a massive breakthrough. That would be phenomenal. So fingers crossed. We've then, of course, got Robbie Simpson, Andy Davis, and Jack Martin. I don't know a lot about those guys, but again, they're on the elite start list. So very, very positive, could be a very positive day tomorrow for British athletics, hopefully. Now, in terms of, as I touched on a minute ago, the weather looks to be fantastic. Compare it to last year where we had the worst winter ever, and then of course things picked up, and on that London Marathon week everyone nearly passed out because of the heat. This year, none of that, just looks to be great conditions. Hopefully lots of people are going to have a great race. And that's what I think. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. Let me know. Let me know. What do you guys think? And of course, have you run London? What are you excited about? James, what are you excited about, mate, about tomorrow? Let me know. Dan, good evening, mate. I hope you are well. Again, I haven't had a chance to congratulate you sort of live. But well done on your Brighton Marathon. Brilliant stuff, mate. Katani does seem to try every single year. I like seeing her try. And then, yes, she falls off the pace. And last year just was not the year to do it. Let's hope she does it this year, or let's hope she attempts it, because you know, I just want to see someone get close to that 2:15. It just seems like Paula Radcliffe just set the bar so high that nobody can touch her. I you know, no idea. Chris, how many Easter eggs do I have left? Well, I've actually been really good because I've got my marathon next weekend. I've actually asked my wife to hide them from me. I got 6. And I've had, this is my second. This is a big one. So I've got 4 left. I will have another one this week. And then I'll have the other 3 after my race. I'm pacing myself. I want to treat myself, but I also want to pace myself. How many did you get? Sandra, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. You're a star. Dan, mate, no, I appreciate, honestly, you did so well. And I think what you did great at Brighton. So for any of you that are watching, Dan runs, I'm talking about, you can click on his little icon. He's got a YouTube channel. Go click on it, subscribe. He documented his journey to Brighton. He did really well for his first marathon, and he's now training for his second, which is awesome. You did well, mate. Jamie, good evening. I've seen you've been putting the pints down, mate. You are, you know, I've been watching on Facebook. I've been seeing. So Jamie obviously is going to be there, but he's going to be a spectator. Unfortunately, Jamie was in for London. I think if I remember rightly, 3rd time lucky, but he got injured. Got injured a few weeks ago, and he's been struggling with an injury. Again, he's got a fantastic YouTube channel. Click on his name, his little icon, Jamie. I think he's nearly 1,000 subscribers. So go and help him out. Click on it, subscribe. It'd be brilliant. The runner, yeah, mate, I got loads. My mother-in-law got most of them. But anyway, I hope you're well. I saw your video yesterday on the biological passport of what was his name? Is it Kit Prop? I can't remember his name. When that news came out, I couldn't believe it. And also, do you know what? The runner, formerly the vegan runner, who's in the chat, just to say, he pointed out on his YouTube channel, he did a post. If any of you guys are interested in seeing what the elites are doing in their warm-up for the race, go check out a channel called Vegan Bro Science. This chap obviously lives in London. He's cycling around the parks where all of the elite athletes are warming up and doing some races, doing some training runs, and he's filming them all. And they're so chilled and so relaxed. It's absolutely amazing. It's such a great insight. Just Google, just YouTube, Vegan Space Bro Science. His latest videos, they're fantastic. He's got Kipchoge running the park, Kipsang riding a bike, Chariot running, doing some strides. Amazing. So, mate, I thank you for pointing that out. That's all I've been doing all day is watching those videos. Chris, just 1 egg. Oh, mate, I'm really sorry. That was for you. Lee, I hope to be in the ballot this year. Mate, get in the ballot. You will love it. Honestly. I cannot express, I know you're down there, I cannot express the atmosphere that there was. And by the way, whilst we're talking, please do put your predictions in and what you think is going to happen tomorrow. And if you're running, what you hope to get. I want to hear from you all. But put your name in the ballot, Lee. Just do it. I've put my name in the ballot for the last 4 years now. 5 years. 4 years, and got rejected each time, which is why I just put my mind to it and decided to do a good phrase training, because I just got fed up of the ballot. But do it. It's worth it. If you can, put your addresses abroad because you're more likely to get in. But I didn't say that. Yes, mate, Jamie, enjoying the beers, and so you should, mate. You're a Scot, you love your beers. Jeffrey, you got no eggs. That was for you. Dan has got me into the tailwind. Yeah, okay. So I wonder if I can show you. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something about tailwind. You're going to like this. Just hold on 2 seconds. I can't find it. I can't find it. Where's it gone? Disappeared. Okay, I can't find it. But I'll tell you what I have about tailwind. I'm going to be taking some tailwind. What I was looking through was this stash. So Lee's wife, who you will have seen on, or you have seen Lee on my channel, Lee's wife managed to get some empty drawstring tea bags. So I was worried about how I was going to get my electrolytes in, and I get on really well with tailwind. I know that from previous marathons. So I'm going to get 2 drawstring tea bags, fill them with tailwind, put them in my belt, so that when I get a bottle at the stations, water stations, I'm going to be able to just, and the drawstring will keep it tight, tip it in. Lee used them at Manchester, and he said they were much better because Lee one time took tailwind, cut the corner off, and tried to sieve it in that way. He said it was such a mess. But these tea bags are amazing. So she got about 100 empty tea bags from eBay, and they're in my cupboard somewhere. I can't see them. I would show you if I could. So that's what I'm probably going to do. Tailwind is amazing. Anyway, sorry, I disappeared, but I wanted to show you. Anyway, I look like I'm up to date with the chat. So finally, before we wrap this up, any more predictions? What are we thinking? So I've talked about the males, especially the GB athletes. I know we're going to have some great crackers there. The female, I agree with what James said. Definitely, we've got Charlotte Purdue. She'd be my odds-on favourite for the women in terms of the GB athletes. And I think tomorrow is going to be an all-round good day. I would encourage you, if you have doubts or hesitations about London, or you're not sure, do it. I have been on that fence for so long, even though I've entered the ballot, but being there this week has made me realise how absolutely mind-blowing and incredible the atmosphere it is 2 days out. You know, I was watching people walk down the streets with their bags from the expo, and it's the atmosphere. It's literally putting shivers down my spine, and that's why I wanted to do this live stream, because I've never been in a position before where I've wanted to talk about a race. But I thought I'm going to bite the bullet tonight. I want to talk about it because I'm so pumped about it. So let me know if you're going to be watching it or running it tomorrow. Max Dan plays mini marathon. Shout out to Max Running. Shout out to Max Running. Absolutely. Drop me a DM on Instagram and we'll sort something. Yes, Dan, bought a sample section. It would be great to maybe have a run together. Oh, nice. That would be amazing, you guys. Yes, definitely. Video it, Dan. Make sure you do. So finally, before we wrap this up, do any of you guys have any questions about London? Have you got any thoughts? What are your predictions? Anything else you want to chuck in the comments? We'll wrap this up in 5 minutes because I want to eat the rest of this Easter egg. It is going fast. And I'm dropping it everywhere. And of course, don't forget, if you haven't already, please do hit that thumbs up button. Really helps. And if you are new here and you enjoy watching me eat Easter eggs, it's like a mukbang, isn't it? If you enjoy watching me eat Easter eggs, talking about London Marathon, hit that subscribe button. When does the ballot open? It's normally in May, very shortly after the race itself, if I remember rightly. It's in May, and then if you get a good for age time, you submit that in August, I think, and then the ballot draw is in October. I have to say, out of everything positive I can say about the London Marathon, I don't like the ballot. I think it's over-egged, it's overhyped, and it's way too long. I mean, you imagine if you're trying to plan your year for next year and your marathons. I mean, think about that for a minute, and you don't know what to do, and you're thinking like I was this year. Oh, I might rather do Brighton or Manchester. So I get to that point where I finally find out of the ballot. I can't remember which one of them sold out at the time. And then I couldn't do, I think it was Brighton that was sold out, and then I couldn't do Manchester. So then I did Newport, and that worked out really well because Newport is like 45 minutes down the road from me, so that's fine. But I'd have rather have done Brighton or Manchester. But that's your year gone, like waiting 6 months for the planning to finally hit that stage of, hey, you know, you didn't get in, and you're like, great, now the other marathons are sold out. And I know there are some amazing other marathons. Please, London is not the be all and end all, but I have to say, since I've experienced that, I wouldn't have it any other way. Jamie, keep applying. What time does it start? I think the women start at 9:30. I think the men start at 10. I think the wheelchair starts a bit earlier than that. Lee, good luck with Newport, mate. Thank you very much. I'll be watching your progress now that you're hitting only 7-minute miles. Would be awesome. Fingers crossed. I will put details for a tracker and everything on there. Paul, what channel UK with BBC, mate? BBC. So if you can get UK channels, BBC One or BBC Two, one of the two. It starts at, I think coverage starts really early in the morning, like, well, not really early, but 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, I think. But the race starts, it normally starts around 10 a.m. I think. If anyone's watching, correct me. My alarm's set anyway. Max Dan plays, I love you, mate. I love you too. Thank you. Appreciate the love. Brian, good evening, mate. How are you? Loving the new Instagram. Good stuff, mate. Keep it up. I assume this is why people end up with the back-to-back marathons. Yes, exactly. That's exactly why they do, because they put themselves in the ballot. They don't know if they're going to get in, so they book another one for safety, and then they find out they get into London, and then they've got 2 to do. Or they just love marathons and they're crazy. A lot of people, a lot of ultra runners as well, use marathons as long runs. I mean, my friend James at the moment, he's training for his ultra, 50-mile ultra, and in his training plan, he's got to be out there for 5 hours. 6 hours is his maximum. So he's covering well over 30 miles in his long run. So if someone was doing that and wanted to use the marathons as their long runs, nice and easy pace, there's no reason why they can't do all 3. But if you want to race them, it's mental. Absolutely mental. Always apply for the ballot, but it doesn't stop me booking another one. If I'm ever lucky enough, I'll just defer the other one. Exactly. Lee, you've entered Brighton for next year. Exciting. That's awesome. Mate, that's wicked stuff. That should be a good event. I hear lots of good things about Brighton. From what I gather, Brighton is one of those courses where it takes people by surprise in the beginning. Lee said this to me last year. Obviously, watching Dan's video, he said the same. And from there, it takes you by surprise. And then, of course, it's nice and flat in the second half. But then you have the risk of, if it's windy, you're going to have the wind in your face or in your back. In your back if you're lucky. If you're in the face, which a lot of them had this year, if you're not. And Brian, one thing I've learned is that if marathon training is very time consuming, so I can imagine what headache it would be scheduling them in. You don't need to tell me, mate. I'm really looking forward to this thing being wrapped up. I can't wait to get back to 10K and half marathon training. I mean, I love marathon training, I really do, but my wife has been incredible with having the kids whilst I'm running, cooking me the food I need to eat after running, keeping my diet on track. Honestly, if you have a family, your family needs to be on board with what you're doing, and I think you need to bribe them if they're not. So anyway, that's it. Let's wrap it up there, guys. Anything else, whack it in the chat now. You've been absolutely incredible. Again, thank you so much for tonight. I really appreciate it. Any last thoughts on London you have? Drop them in the comments now. I can't wait for tomorrow. I've given my predictions. I will see if I'm right tomorrow. I hope I'm right. I really hope we get a good show. All I can hope for is an exciting race. I mean, I predicted Elliot and Mo first and second. I just want an exciting race. What I don't want is for like Elliot to break away at like mile 5 or 6 and run solo for the rest of it. I mean, yes, it's exciting to see if he gets the world record, but ultimately I want to see some jostling, some race tactics, some surges. Oh, so-and-so's put the hammer down. That's what I want to see tomorrow. So even if Elliot does do that, let's hope that we have a bit of a fight in the pack behind, or whatever it might be. And for the women, again, I'd love to see a strong women's field going for it, and then slowly as the race goes on, thinning out until we get that breakaway. Someone makes that surge, that final kick that just kills everyone else off. Oh, it's so exciting. So there we go, guys. Thank you, Dan. Really appreciate it, mate. I really appreciate all of it, and everyone that's thanked me tonight and congratulated me. You're awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, guys. Let's wrap it there. You've been incredible. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope you all enjoy the London Marathon tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a massive spectacle for us all. And thank you for joining me tonight on a Saturday night when you could be watching Saturday Night TV. But then again, Saturday Night TV is pants. Let's be honest. So that's it, guys. If you enjoyed it, I was just going to say my outro. Jamie, I hope Mo doesn't go hard. Yes, that's what I said. I want him to sit in the second pack and then progress to the first, is my opinion. I'm in London tomorrow, so mate, Brian, enjoy it. Enjoy the buzz. Enjoy it. Just soak up the atmosphere. I'm jealous of you all. I'm gutted I had to come home on Friday. Next year. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support. You're incredible. If you have enjoyed this video, as I said, please do give it a like, share it with your friends. Lee, mate, great chat. Thank you so much. Chris, great pleasure to catch up with you the other night. I met Chris. Again, here we are running. Final plug. Chris has a YouTube channel. Here we are running. Click his little icon. Go subscribe to him. He's got a great channel too. If you enjoyed this video, oh, you know the drill. I will see you next time. I cannot wait for tomorrow. Until then.